Hello and welcome to this live webinar presentation on how to quit your day job and become a stager and designer, 8 key steps to success. I am so glad that you're here, and it looks like you're getting super comfortable with the chat room, and that is my goal. If you've never been on a webinar before, I'm very interactive. I like to keep it as interactive as possible, and I like to ask questions along the way, so I'm so glad you're getting comfortable. It looks like we have people from all over the world. I'm so glad that you could make it. Let's go ahead and jump in. Let's talk about who this webinar is for. Oh my gosh, I just noticed somebody is on the line from South Africa. How cool is that? Welcome, welcome. People from all over the world. This is really cool. All right. I'm sorry, I got to get away from the chat room. I'm getting into my presentation. Who is this presentation for? You are in the right place. If you are a brand new home stager who's like starting your business, or maybe you're thinking about the staging industry. Maybe in the survey, a few of you mentioned that your real estate agent, you were selling your home, said, you should be a stager. And you're like, okay, what is that? Maybe you are a real estate agent that really just loves the design part and is looking into adding staging. Or you're a veteran home stager, or you just love design and you love to see before and after photos and hear success stories about how people enter into the industry and what it takes. You're in the right place. Or even if you're a color level, you're in the right place. This presentation is for all of you. Basically, if you like to look at rooms like this is a before photo that are turned into spaces like this that are answered for the client. That's the after. Then you are in the right place. Hopefully you saw some of the before and after photos that I showed you before. So that's what I like to show. I like to show the work that we have. Let's talk about what you're going to learn, because I've got a lot of new material. This is brand new. I'm going to focus on the importance of passions. I want to tap into, hopefully you have a pen and paper right in front of you. We're going to talk about what your passions are and why those passions are important to entrepreneurs. And then we'll talk about practical planning steps for starting a staging business, some self-assessments, and also researching your location, how to do that to know if there's a market for it, how to take those phone orders, how to ask the right questions, how to do a really smart marketing launch and structure for that, how to innovate your business, find your niche, and price simply, and marketing and branding for success. So we have a ton of stuff to go over. And of course, if you know me, I like to share stories and photos along the way. So we'll get to a lot of that. I want to thank you guys for filling out the survey. When you first signed up, more than half of you did. In fact, I should mention, I think this is one of the largest live webinars we've had. There were almost 3,000 people signing up, which is pretty amazing. And by and large, the big question a lot of you had is, how do people even get started in staging? What does it take? Do we need to buy a bunch of inventory? This doesn't make sense to me. So I'm going to answer all those questions, and I want to thank you for filling out that survey. If you're wondering who I am, my name's Audra Slinkey, and I'm president of the Home Staging Resource. I created the first online mixed media staging and design training company back in 2006. That's Home Staging Resource. And so I have been training for many years. I'm a blogger for the National Association of Realtor and my own blog, which is voted number 1 and 2. I've been a winner of the RESA Real Estate Staging Association Innovator of the Year for my training products for 2013, 15, and 17. And I'm really most proud to have trained the most award-winning, successful stagers in the industry. So if you've started looking into the industry and you've looked at your local area and looked at other stagers' websites, if you see that logo, they're my person. I also later on added another training. It was my color training. That's that logo that you may have seen around on people's sites. And recently an expert e-designer training. So all those things. But before I did all that, I was just like you, and I had these 2 little baby boys. First, before I had them, I was laid off from my job. So I had my day job. I got laid off, which was like a heartbreaker. And I realized right away that there's not a lot of loyalty out there. When it comes to my organization, I thought they'd keep me forever, and they didn't. And so I thought, you know what? I need to start my own business. And I started my own internet marketing and recruitment company. I used to train Fortune 500 companies on doing that. And about the time I had these little babies, I said, you know what? I'm going to focus on being a mom. I love being a mom. But then I, like so many of you, wasn't taking advantage of my creative juices. And I realized this time around my career, I'm going to do what I love, and I love design. How many of you on this line in the chat room have been rearranging rooms since you were a kid? Go ahead in the chat room, go ahead and put yes, because that was me. And, I had that soul searching moment that said, okay, I started a business. What am I going to do? I'm going to do what I love this time. And I love design, and I started my staging business. Yes, thank you. Yeah. You're in the right place. Yeah. Me too. Right. And we think that everybody does that. We think that everybody as a kid rearranges rooms. I have a secret to tell you. Nobody does that. We are this very small percentage. I always like to say, of just kind of crazy people that this is what we do. This is what we love. But most people aren't like that. And if you don't believe me, look at homes online that haven't been staged. Anyway, whole other thing. But that's where I was at. So I jumped into staging, loved the staging, but I realized really quickly that I loved also training people. That was always my passion as well. And I'm going to be talking a lot about passions here. So, flash forward, here are those little babies later. And I give this story to tell you a little bit about my story and my adventure of starting my staging business and then starting my staging training business, and having that for many years later, to say that life goes by really fast, right? I blinked and these kids grew up on me. And I know you probably feel the same way. So I want you to take time in this webinar when we discuss to really think about kind of where you're at. That's why I kind of named it How to Quit Your Day Job, whether you have one or not, and really think about where you want to go. Where do you want to be this time next year? That's why I sent that kind of email to get you dreaming as a joke. What is next year? What is New Year's Eve going to look like for you? And the really key questions are you moving toward your passions and your dreams with real momentum? Or do you even know what those are? Or even how to do it. And I noticed a lot of you in the survey, your passion is design, it is staging. You're just wondering what those steps are. So I'm hoping this is going to solve those issues for you. So what I want you to do on the top of your page right now, with your pen and paper, at the top of your page, I want you to write down, what are your passions? Do you see how I wrote passions right here? Right up the way down. So write down your passions. I know for a lot of you, you're going to say design. Go ahead and you could put it in the chat room too. If you're one of those people that are really good at multitasking, you can write it down on your piece of paper, put it in the chat room. But I know a lot of you, it's design and color. Oh my gosh, you love color. For some of you, it's shopping. You love shopping and design. And for others of you, I know it might be real estate. I love real estate too, so I get that. I love to look at homes online. I know immediately when a home in my area goes online. So write down those passions. Helping others, I love that. Organizing, I love that. Interior redesign, fashion, I love it. Those are great passions, right? All of those are really good. Home goods, yes. So thank you guys, Jessica. 3D, yeah, e-design, organizing, real estate, great. I love it. All of the above. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 8 steps to reaching your passion, and I'm going to walk you through it. And that's what this training's all about. So the 8 steps follows each one of these letters. The first step, and you might want to write this on your piece of paper, is planning, and give yourself a little bit of space before you write the next one, assessment, because you're going to take notes under each one. And then the next one is structure. Give yourself a little bit more space. Give yourself almost a paragraph of space under each one of these, hopefully for your notes, because I'm going to be talking through each one, and it'll be good for you to have them underneath that section. The next 4th tip is support. 5th is innovation. The 6th is open and transparent. The next one is no. I know you're going to be like, what is that? And the last one is start. So these are the words that you can write down on that big piece of paper, and then we're going to tackle them one by one so that we can get you to reach those passions. Because even if some of you said your passion, even if it's not design, it's event planning, to become an event planner, this and that, a lot of the principles I'm going to teach you in this training can go with almost any entrepreneurial passion-based business. So let's jump in. The first one is obviously planning, right? I can't quit my day job if I don't make a little bit of a plan for it, right? Life doesn't just happen to you. You have to kind of make it happen. So I like this, one day at a time. So let's start planning how you can quit your day job and get started into the staging and design business. So really simply, and really any business, you got to consider your business type. And for most small businesses that are working from their home, which is pretty much every stager who gets started, they're a sole proprietor, but some are LLC. And all you need to do is Google, business types to get kind of the background on that and really see. But it's not hard. A lot of people think this is a hard step. It's not. Google how to create a sole proprietorship in my area, and it'll tell you go to your county, register your business, and you're done. You started it. Because the good news is, to become a stager, you don't need a 4-year degree. You don't need any fancy qualifications. You could literally say, this is what I'm doing. So that's one of the things I love about the industry. Secondly, you're going to want to choose a business name, and this is always fun. This is where you pop the champagne with maybe 3 of your best friends, and you start brainstorming, and then you start searching for it on GoDaddy.com to see if you can get the website address, right? Being unique. Find that business name that's going to really shine and represent you, because you are your business. Thirdly, you need to create a website. And even a website's not that hard these days. It used to be impossible. And that's why we've always had a website product with our training, because we never wanted that impossible thing like creating a website to stop someone from following their passion. So you can create a website using Squarespace or Wix. It's pretty simple. And those are subscription based. And you might need some marketing materials like business cards, that sort of thing. And on your website, you really only need 3 key pages, and that's your about us, your story, if you will, your services, what are you going to do for clients, and your portfolio. Next, start building that portfolio, right? Organize your home office. You got to be official. You're starting your business, or your kitchen desk. I always tell people, but make sure you take that before photo and then the after photo, because whatever you rearrange now, just start doing it. Always take the before photo and the after photo. And that's how you start creating kind of a little bit of your portfolio. Even if it's rooms in your own home, you got to show people the way you work. And then you got to decide, do I quit my day job? Do I stay or slowly build? And the good news is, with almost any industry, you can keep your job and slowly build, because you control your hours when you're an entrepreneur. So let's understand the costs. What are the costs involved in the staging business? And like I said, it's one of the cheapest businesses you can start, because, a lot of people like to spend on, books on design, training, some guidance, right? And I always have to say at the end, I should have said this in the beginning of this training, I'm going to give you a bunch of information in this training. A lot of stuff's on how to get started, how to market successfully, show you examples of what people have done and what they do well. But at the end of the training, in the middle, I'm going to promote my training product. So I hope that's okay. It's a free webinar. If that's okay with you, go ahead and put yes in the chat room, a little bit of sales pitch at the end and in the middle for a lot of good information. So if that's okay, go ahead in the chat room, put no problem. That's great. All right. So those are costs involved, and the marketing materials you're going to need. I mentioned your website hosting. Thanks, guys. Yes, thank you. Seems fair. You've done these webinars before, so you know the drill. And your computer, your printer, and your cell phone. And for a lot of you who I know mentioned that you love to shop, well, now you become this expert shopper. When you're a stager, you get everything pretty much wholesale. So we'll talk about that. But all those things, your printer, computer, and cell phone, become write-offs to your business. And that's one of the benefits of having your own business. But at the end of the day, home stagers all work from home. We don't have fancy offices. You don't have to start with a lot of inventory or accessories or work from home. Inventory and accessories, or if you plan on really doing a lot of vacant homes, the truth is there's not a lot of vacant homes out there. You don't have to you determine the services you're going to do. So it is one of the least expensive businesses you can start, and I want to encourage you with that. So a little bit more encouragement, a little bit about the industry, because a lot of people ask me this: how do I know if staging's good in my area? How do I know if this is a good business to start? Well, I'll be honest, the staging industry is hot. Staging and design. I always put those are 2 things. My training trains you on both, because any good staging job is going to lead to a move-in design job when you position it well. So architects, interior designers, remodelers, design builders, they're all super excited about what the future may bring for their business. This was a recent statistic. Very optimistic about our industry. People are remodeling. And in fact, the National Association of Realtors just put out this article because they actually had a worse forecast than expected. The housing market's doing better than what they thought it would this year already. So that's all good news, especially for stagers and realtors. In a recent profile of home staging, where we just get our statistics, they get better every year. But in this one, 94% of buyers' agents say that staging has at least some effect on the buyer's view of the home. And I want to encourage you, because some of us stagers, when I started back in 2005, nobody knew what staging even was. Now 94% of them are like, yep, that works. So we have come a long way in our industry, and that's what's so exciting. By the way, this statistic, this survey, the average age of the survey of the agents in this profile was 55 years old. So they weren't, like young, that they're going to say, understood staging, they get it now. And half of those sellers agents actually thought it increased the value 6 to 20%. How awesome is that? 83% of buyers find it easier to visualize the property. So they just know because staging shows them the visual. And no agents believed it had a negative effect. And I want to encourage you guys, because a lot of you I know think, like the question that Sandra just mentioned, can you come from any career background? Yes. In fact, every stager that has started a staging business has reinvented themselves into staging. That's why I told you my story. Everyone was reinvented, whether they were a hairdresser, a nurse, a teacher. They didn't come out of school staging. So that's the fun thing about our industry. When it comes to design, and doing design work, which is kind of almost happens automatically for stagers because people want to hire them. People have equity in their homes more than ever, so they want to do remodeling. In fact, the remodeling forecast for the next few years is only getting better. So if you're wondering if your timing is right, your timing is right. Another good thing about staging, and this is why I always say, even if you're on the line and you're like, I'm not really interested in staging, I'm interested in design, I always say start your staging business first, because stagers have an easy target market, and that is real estate agents. They will be your partners, they will be your best friends. If you make them look good and you help them on their listings, they will love you. And that's the beauty of staging versus interior designs. Target market could be anybody with a home. It's a little harder to market. So the staging business as a business model is a better business model to start, right? Charlotte just asked, how do you build clientele? That's who you target. That's why I always say go staging business first. I'm going to talk about more marketing, and I should get away from the chat room. Sorry. I will be answering your questions at the end of this presentation, but I appreciate some of these good things. All right. Let's get to number 2. So after you've done a little bit of that basic planning, this is kind of a key step, and that is a self-assessment, personal and professional. Because the big question I have for you is, can you be your own boss? I mean, put in the chat room, do you think you could be a good boss to yourself? Now, if you've been an entrepreneur before, this will come really natural for you, but most people haven't. That's why I said everybody's reinventing from something else, working the 9 to 5 or whatever it is. And so you have to ask yourself kind of those key questions. Can I be a boss of myself? Can I have the self-discipline and the structure? And that's why I always said, if you have a business that is following your passions, guess what? That passion is the fuel to help you persevere. That's why I believe if you're going to start any business for yourself, it needs to be a business that you're passionate about. If you're passionate about design, that's what makes the staging business kind of so spectacular for people. So create a brainstorm. Step back. I love you guys. You guys are great in the chat room. Envision your perfect job. And in my training, I have this getting started guide where I walk people through some really important self-assessment questions. And number 1, I want you to think about, where do you see yourself come year 2020? Next year. Because like I said, life just doesn't happen to you. You make it happen. So if you're in that job that you don't really like and you do want to quit your day job, how are you going to get to where you want to see yourself? So envision where you want to see yourself in 2020. And then you need to think about how you want to get there. I've given you already a little bit of basic steps, but one of the big steps is, what is that relatable story? And I noticed some of you in the chat room put, well, I'm in computer engineering, or I'm in, a hairstyle, I'm a teacher, I'm a, that is your story. That is what you bring into your new business. And part of that story is what makes you so special with what you're going to do in people's homes. And then from there, you're going to have your mission. And then you also need to kind of look around at what's your resources. And I have to tell a story. I just got this story from Kimberly Hawkins, seriously, just yesterday. Added it to my presentation. And you can see a few things from her website. So the top is her beautiful website. And at the very top of her site, it says, "We stage and design thoughtful, livable spaces." That is her mission. So you can see she went through my training, right away built her mission, and that is what it is. And her story is, she did quit her day job. Her day job was for working for Amazon, imagine it, doing the long, long hours, and she left and she began taking my course December 1st of 2017. So about a year and a half ago, she started the course. And it was her mission to finish it. It's a 21-day course, but it's self-paced, in case you wondered. And she actually finished it in 21 days, which is really a miracle. But I love how she set goals for herself right away. So she had the fundamentals. She wanted to be armed. She needed all that stuff to set foot. And then she set out her goals. She set her goal was to launch January. So I always say it goes to where you see yourself. So where you see yourself is how you're going to set those goals to meet that vision, right? So her goal was January 2018, I'm launching my business. I want to make 50,000 my first year, which is actually a pretty hefty goal considering most small businesses, don't even, make anything or go under. And she wanted to be a luxury stager, 3.5 million homes. She far surpassed her goals. And as a result, a ton of opportunities opened up for her, which I love. Her passion, which I noticed some of you mentioned, was helping people. And she puts that passion of helping people into those homes, which I love. So great story. And now I have to share you some of her beautiful work. Feel free in the chat room to ooh and ah. That's really pretty, isn't it? I love what she did in this home. I want you to try and envision this room if it were empty. Because, and you may say, oh, it's a beautiful bedroom. She put the green from the living room into the bedroom in the space. But empty, that is kind of a putrid peach carpet, right? So can you imagine if it was empty? The first thing you notice is the putrid peach carpet. That is the beauty of staging, right? So you see it, and she takes the eye up, and she uses color to draw it around the room and move it away from that carpet. I love it. So let's talk about your market, because I notice you guys are from all over. How do you know if your market is good for staging? Here's what you do. You go to realtor.com, or you go to your MLS, whatever MLS you're used to, whether it's Zillow, Trulia, realtor.com, or if, my international students, I say, where you search for homes, whatever that is. I want you to look at the homes online in your area, your drivable distance. First of all, see if there is any. Make sure there's inventory there for you to, jobs to be had. Secondarily, ask yourself if you could improve that home. Now, keep in mind, a lot of these are homes that probably have been staged, but that's how you know if you have a market. You look at it. But remember, the market is not just for staging. It's also for design. And I already showed you what those stats are. But that's how you know. And a lot of you may say, Audra, because I got this question in the survey, what about rural versus metro? I live in a really small town. How do I know if this is going to work for me? There's no other stagers in my town. Well, I say that's good news and bad news for each one of these locations, guys. Because if you live in a rural small town, guess what your marketing plan is going to be? In my training, I have a marketing plan for each person that lives in whether it's rural or metro. Your marketing plan as rural is you're going to be shaking hands and kissing babies. You are going to be networking, right? Because it's a small town. So you're going to join your local realtor association. You're going to connect in open houses. You're going to join other associations and really work with people because it's really about networking and that face-to-face, which is still important in a metro. But I always say when it comes to metropolitan, if you're in a bigger city, an easy way to really launch your business is to run a Google pay-per-click campaign. Because guess what? If you live in a city, that means home sellers are searching for stagers. They are, especially in the spring. And to come straight at the top and have a beautiful website and an ad just puts you right to the top. So those are just a couple hot tips on easy ways to launch. I'm going to show you a couple others, but I don't want you to worry about it. Search your your local area, and then you'll know if there's homes there to be sold, there's a market for you. All right. Let's talk about structure. How many of you on this line in the chat room, this is a transparent place, go ahead, you can say it. One of your biggest concerns is you don't have the confidence. You're like, Audra, I feel like I can do this. I think I can do this. But the idea of stepping into someone's home, I don't know. It just scares me to death. And if that is you, say it. I just want to hear it from you. Be honest. I love it. Jessica was super honest. Me, yeah. Very true. I think that is a scary thing, is to have the confidence to step into the home. You wonder, okay, is my design knowledge going to kick in? I told you, you have been training yourself on design since you were a kid. I saw that from most of you. So I always have to give you a little kick in the pants, like, yes, you have it. You do have it. It's just that confidence factor is the hardest part. And I want to encourage you because every single person, I interview people when they jump into my training, and you're not alone because every single interview when they start my training, every single person says they're excited and they're scared. And that's so normal, and they're worried about a confidence. But I'm going to tell you the secret to having confidence. And the secret is structure. a structure for everything. So when you have a structure for your consultations, for your phone orders, for your marketing, for everything that you do, you're not as focused on the shaking in your boots part. You're focused on the structure of what you're doing. So when you have that process for every service you offer, you do appear credible, confident, professional, and believable. Your client's never going to ask you how long you've been staging because they're trusting that you're in control. So I love that somebody says high confidence. One of the things that Kimberly said and that she did in the story, and I got to get back to her story because she's just like you, that she would say to her team, Audra wants us to do. So she took the structure of what I gave her and she took it with her in every stage of the training. And she did that because when you don't in the beginning have the confidence, you can rely on the voice and on the structure. And that's the importance. So for those of you who are like, okay, what questions do I even ask on a phone order? Here you go. Take a snapshot of this phone order. It works pretty much the same for whether you're working to an agent or a seller. And I always say in the beginning, don't get this information, maybe just their name, and you already have their phone number because you have your cell phone. If they're asking about a home, get right to the home because that's what they want to talk about, right? Little tips and phone. Get the square footage, find out when the year it was built. That'll tell you how old it is, list price, when they want to list. This is their urgency. How long have the sellers been in the home? And if they say there's no sellers, that means it's new. That means there's a builder. So that's what builder do we want? Bedrooms, den, baths. And the key question is this vacant or is this occupied? And if you don't know what that means, is the home empty? Are we putting in furnishings? Or is this home filled with the seller stuff? They're living there, meaning we got to go in there and tell them what they need to do to get it ready. Right? So if it's vacant, these are some key questions so that you can give them a simple quote over the phone. If it's occupied, then we skip on to the black. So these are just some key questions to ask. And I say this and I share this because when you have a structure, do you think if you're on the phone, are you going to be worried about the next question you're going to ask? No, right? It's right in front of you. I love it. Allison said it's frightening, but you do it anyway. Let me tell you another structure little tidbit that I tell people to do. I tell people when they first get through the training, because a lot of you had this question in the survey, by the way, how do I use social media and I'm not a chump on social media? I don't want to be over salesy on social media. How does it work? How does social media work for me? Well, in social media, I tell people when they finished the training, they can post their certificate and tell their friends. So Alicia Carter said, I'm certified. Hey friends, do me a favor. Can you let your real estate friends know I'm ready to serve? I can't wait to share the stunning before and after photos with my friends and family. This feels so good. Happy Monday. So easy. Hey friends, this is what I'm about. And then guess what? Her friend, Lonnie, took the same post and said, since I have a million real estate friends, thought I'd let you know my girl Alicia is certified stager and redesigner. Keep her in mind when you need to make your listings look good. So off this story, guess what happened? And if you want to know the whole story, you can go to my blog at homestagingresource.com. I just posted this blog last week. One of the friends that connected there saw her, and he had some Airbnbs that he needed her to stage. So not only did she stage the Airbnbs, he wants her to also concierge, so kind of semi-manage them a little bit for him. So she's making a portion of the money on the rental of the Airbnbs. She's staging each one. And then he has other buddies who actually have Airbnbs and rentals. And now that she's known to be this Airbnb stager, she has more work than she ever has. And by the way, she just launched her business. I think you saw that date. I think it was February. So it's kind of cool because even Airbnb staging, who would have thought? So being gentle on Instagram and Facebook, but being true and letting people know how you feel, and introducing your business is a natural thing. But the one thing and an area that I see people kind of struggle in this industry, I'm going to be honest, is the tip number 4 is you need support. You've got to have support. You can't be an island. You have to, have support from your fellow stagers. You have to have support from your friends, from your family. And an easy way to get support, and I've got to plug it, is our industry has a convention every year, the staging industry. It's called the RISA Convention. So you can look up risaconvention.com to get the information. It's this July 25th and 27th. It times with the Las Vegas market. And if you don't know what that is, the Las Vegas Vegas market is these 3 high-rise buildings filled with furnishings that you're going to want to shop for. And guess what? You get them wholesale when you're a stager. So we all go to this great conference. We have a lot of fun together, and then we go shopping together. And if you can, it's this summer in Vegas. I host a party for my members because when you go to something by yourself, what better way to get to know many other people is wine, right? So I rent a huge loft. We pop open tons of champagne and wine, and it's a big party. So it's a lot of fun. If you are HSR, if you are someone who's trained with me, go ahead and put in the chat room HSR. But it's a great way to connect. We all have a lot of fun. This is just, my members. But there's hundreds of other stagers who have been in the business just like you, who are just sharing stories. And that's how we encourage each other, right? That's how we build one another up. So you can do it through your local chapter. RESIC is a fantastic association for that. I also have a private Facebook group called Stagers Connect, where we do it also for each other. So in my training, great. Thank you guys. I can't believe it. I never know if there's HSR people. Sylvia Bancourt, register for the convention, resaconvention.com, RESA convention.com. Yeah. So one of the things that we do in Stagers Connect, and this is just a place that you have to have, there are Facebook groups for home stagers that are helpful, but you have to always remember sometimes people have agendas on them and they can get overly salesy, in my opinion. So in the private group, this is just the comments alone on Alicia's post. So I showed you Alicia's post and how excited she was about her business. And then all of her staging friends was like, wow, great job. And she was telling people how to stage Airbnbs and how she did it. And everyone was like, how did you do it? How much are you making? And everybody's fired up about it. And that's why that support is so important in your business, because it's so hard. We work from home. So a lot of times we feel alone in our staging business, and there's no need for us to feel that way. So having one another is key to your success. So let's move on. Tip number 5, innovation, finding your niche, finding solutions for your business, and growing your business. Doing something that scares you. Because a lot of times people feel like they get this kind of imposter syndrome, or they feel like, I can't do that. I don't have my 4-year degree in that. Don't worry, you can. So let's walk you through it. A lot of stagers in the beginning, this is a tip I tell people right away, is you do not need to have inventory, accessories, warehouse of stuff. You don't need to be that stager. That stager is focusing on vacant homes, high-level vacant homes. Most of the homes on the market are not vacant. They're not. They're occupied. So they definitely need your help. So when you can identify what niche you want to follow, whether it be vacant staging or a consultation-based model, it'll help you to know what direction to take your business. All right. So here's some tips to help you follow. If you have money to invest in inventory, like Kimberly Hawkins. Kimberly, I've shared you her story throughout. We're going to keep walking through her story. She had money to invest. She knew she wanted to deal with multi-million-dollar homes. She wanted vacant homes. She had the flexibility and time. She quit her day job with Amazon. So she wanted to go full bore. I don't know if she likes the client, but I know she loves the client part. She likes people, but I have found that some people who don't really want the client part, they love vacant homes. And they love the clean slate to work with because it's a vacant clean slate. This is what that looks like. And I share sometimes, if you've been in my other webinars, I love Leigh Ward. She's one of my graduates, graduated 2 years ago and just staged Bruce Willis's home. How cool is that? Celebrity stager. But she knew right away the vacant luxury home market, that was her niche, and she pursued it right away. So if you know right away and pursue it, it's really helpful to you. So the other side of the coin is the consultation-based model. And that's for people with monetary constraints. I get it. And maybe you need more time flexibility. You are working full-time, you can't afford to quit your full-time job. If that's you, go ahead in the chat room, put that's me. Or actually in the chat room, put consultation or vacant. I know when you get started, you're going to dip your toe in both, but I'm getting your creative juices going right now. I see someone said vacant. That's great. If you need more time flexibility, monetary constraints, consultation, if you love to work with people and offer solutions, and you like the challenge and creativity of working with people's items to solve design solutions. I love it. I love it. It sounds like you guys know. You're like, that's me. I know. Consultation, vacant, great. Because I have stagers who are my vacant stagers. They refer business to their consultation stagers. My consultation stagers, they refer their business to the vacant stagers, and we're one happy family. So this is what a consultation stager looks like, right? You're not in an empty home. You're walking in an occupied home. It's not bad. You can see it's right on the bluff. But with a little bit of my sister, I always say my sister is a professional stager. In fact, that was her before and after photos in the very beginning that I shared, Pacific Home Design. And what did she do for this client? She did her 2-hour consultation, walked all the way through the home, told them all the things they needed to do. She obviously did some shopping for this client, went to Home Depot, got some plans, got, some serious shopping items, the stuff that we know works in every home. And then the homeowner was a little overwhelmed, so she actually spent a day with them tweaking every room of that home. So a lot of the consultation can turn into a bit more, and this is how you make money doing consults, because people wonder, how do I make money just on that? Well, if you have 2 staging consultations a week, that's $400. Say you charge $200 for each one. If you want to know pricing, start with charging $200 for a 2-hour consultation where you give them the works. You tell them everything they need to do. Let's say one of those consultations turns into a day of staging, just like it did for my sister in that example. That's $700. And let's say another turned into color consultation, because the easy conversation when you're staging their home is, how does your new home look? What kind of cosmetic improvements are you going to make to it? And they may say, oh, we're going to paint it. Great. What colors are you going with? And they're like, oh, I don't know. We struggle. Would you like me to come and give you a color consultation? Right? Easy done. Color is an easy sell. So if you just did that, you'd be making $72,500 a year on 13 client hours a week. So you see, I'm just doing the math. This is a zero overhead business. So you don't need accessories, you don't need inventory. This is if you're consultation based, zero overhead. And if you added another day of redesign, because they want you to work on the home they're moving into, you're making over 6 figures. So this works, right? I just sometimes have to do the numbers for people. So the key to consultation success is you do need to broaden your services. You need to upsell your redesign. That's why I train in both. Start with staging, do redesign, and then the 2 new trainings I've offered, because my stager said, Audra, I need a color training, I need an e-design training from a consultation standpoint. Color is a gateway service. People are afraid of it. So it's really easy to market. It offers a lot of bang for people's bucks, and color trends have drastically changed. There's been numerous options. So I'm going to lead to my first offer I told you I was going to offer. I know a lot of you wait for these live webinars knowing this is the only time I ever discount my services. My training products. I'm giving you discounts to all my training products. So what I want you to do, you should see it right there. If you're interested in the color training, or even if you're not sure, click on that webinar discount price button. It'll open up in a new tab for you so you can think about it. That's the discount. It's there for you. It's $50 off. And basically, it helps you to focus on the niche. It's becoming a certified color expert. This was an award-winning training. It's a 3-day online course. You can take a year if you need. And I basically take the mystery out of color completely. Every step of the way. I would show you how to create color schemes, not just paint colors on walls, but fixtures. How many people make mistakes on picking the wrong granite color versus backsplash versus flooring? So I walk you through how you can talk clients out of those mistakes and save them so much money doing that. And I also walk you through the consultation process and how to easily market that business. So if you love color, maybe you're a stager designer and you've never been really comfortable with color, trust me, I've never had anyone not love this training. So I connect you with Sherwin-Williams and Benjamin Moore. I even give you a cheat sheet of the best, most popular colors and when to use them, what are their undertones, and I give you all the work. So you're going to be able to be the color expert after taking this course. So if you're even remotely interested, I say click that button. You have that option, and I'm going to take it down in just a bit. So that's what I recommend. Even if it's on your mind, click it, open it, because now I'm going to walk you through another offer. I never offer all of my trainings, but I'm doing it today. I'm going to have to remove the color offer, and now I'm going to offer you my e-design. So that was another reason why I created the e-design training, because e-design is an easy way to launch design service. A lot of my stagers, what they do is they will work with a staging client and say, hopefully you can see that, they basically say, let's create a design plan for your new home. And it's a very visual way to help people create a plan for their space. A good example, this is a commercial building. So a lot of times for commercial space, they do it. Vicki Coggins, this was her church, and they wanted an e-design plan. So she found her inspiration image. She put the product that she thought they should pay for in the technology. That's my e-design technology that I recommend you use. So they had a budget, and then there's the after. So they created this whole scene. That's e-design in a nutshell, kind of launching design. It's basically launching your design in a visual way. Mitch just shared this in Stagers Connect, where he used an e-design board for a client who wanted a calming space, which I love. So it gives clients that visual. They can see it all put together. It lets them stay on budget. There's so many great benefits to e-design. I can't spend too much time talking about it because I want to get back into the training for you guys. But if you're even remotely interested in this offer, click on that button. So keep it up as a tab, because you can always go to our website to get the full details. Because what I do in this training is I give you an account. When you sign up for a Design Files account through my training, you get a preloaded account filled with design projects that have already been done. 25 living rooms, 20 bedrooms, 8 nurseries. Actually, there's even more than this. It's now 80 design projects and growing. And it's not so that you could be cookie cutter. It's so that you can have inspiration. Because you could either sign up and get a blank count, or you can sign up and get an account filled with inspiration to show clients right away, and it's a huge time saver. So that is that one. I'm going to keep that up. All right. And I love it. Nellie says that's a service she's providing now. It's really popular right now. E-design is hot. Okay. So let's get back to passions. Now I'm getting to step number 6. This is a secret that I know a lot of you are uncomfortable with because it kind of feeds to the fear that you have to be open and transparently, gorgeously you. Part of starting a business where you are your brand and you are the entrepreneur is you've got to be open and transparently, gorgeously. You got to embrace you as your brand. And in fact, one of my personal mentors, Brendan Burchard, I don't know if you've heard of him. He's a crazy successful speaker. This quote is from him: "The highest performing people in the world are courageous, and they practice that through honesty, transparency, and openness." I mentioned you tapping into your story, using the story to be transparent and open with clients, putting yourself out there in your business. You have to trust yourself. Trust the skill set that you've been teaching yourself since you're a kid. Granted, there's a lot of ways you can hone it. There's so many great resources, out there. But you have been training yourself on the elements of great design since you were a child. You're solid. Trust in the law of attraction. When you put yourself and your brand out there, you're going to get the kind of people that will be your people. That's why I always do these trainings. So I know I'm attracting, if you don't like my style of training with I do a lot of visuals, I do a lot of PowerPoints, then I'm not going to probably be your favorite trainer. And that's okay. I'm not your person. Law of attraction is important. Oh, getting back to the chat room, I'm going to answer questions at the end. So don't worry, save your questions. Trust in your gut instinct about people. Know that if something's wondering about something, listen well to your clients, set clear expectations about what you're going to do for them, and say no if you're not ready, or if you don't think it's something you can do, but know that you can do this. I promise you can. Another beautiful photo by Kimberly Hawkins, right? She's a year into her business and look at her work. The work is there. The talent is there. She's been honing it since she was a kid. Now she just needed to bring it to life for herself. Part of, though, knowing, listening to that gut is knowing when to say no. And some of you may have said yes to a client and that client burned you, right? And maybe in your gut instinct, you knew that was not the right person. So you need to also sometimes say no. Guess what, guys? If you're your own boss, you get to say no. If you have a boss right now, you can't quit your day job, you can't say no to those people, right? But you're your own boss. You can say no to anyone. So know what you can and cannot take on in the beginning. It's okay to say no or work with another stager to outsource it. If a client's not giving you the whole story or full information, then that's not a good client. In fact, part of the things when you do your marketing launch for your business is you create your profile on Houzz, HOUZZ.com. And there's a scam going on Houzz. You put yourself out there where people are trying to text stagers and, try to, get money. And if they're not giving the whole information, don't listen to them. Say no. If they're questioning your process and your rates, if they can't spare you the time, that's why I have those phone interview questions. That's why you should have those same questions in a phone interview, because that's how you're screening that client as much as they're screening you. If they're negative, this is just my own personal aggressive or whiny, that's not my person. We're not going to go well. I love it. Catherine said, if she'd been burned bad, we've all been burned bad. I want to encourage you and say that's called the 80-20 rule. And it's not even 20 in our industry. Maybe 5% of the people that approach you for work are going to be those 5% of clients you're going to need to say no to. And if you say no to them, you're going to save yourself 90% of the headaches, right? Because it's just that 5% that cause 90% of your headaches. So if you learn to say no and you get smart with your business, then these are just some tips. They have unreasonable timeframes, unreasonable expectations. But remember, I said you got to set the expectation. They complain. It's okay to just say, it sounds like we're not a fit for each other. And that is okay. Some of you, though, need to say no and part of letting go of things in your life, limitations that you're putting on yourself, especially if you're wondering if you can do this. Say no to your fear of failure. Guess what? Failure is every entrepreneur has failures. We all do. We embrace them and then we learn from them. Right? So you can't be afraid of them. This is how we grow. This is how we learn. This is how we get better. And it's no different than design, right? When we do design in someone's space, how many times have you put a picture up on a wall and said, doesn't look as good there as it does over here? That's not failure. That's how we learn. So say no to that. Say no to the fear that you may have of the unknown, because life is unknown. Life is change, right? You have a vision for yourself this time next year, Don't be fearful of what vision you can make for yourself. Say no to that fear of rejection. I'm going to tell you right now, people are going to reject you. That's okay. People reject me all the time. People reject me all the time. I got an email yesterday where somebody said the F word because, there are haters out there. Haters are going to hate. You can't let it worry you. It's just part of life. It's part of putting yourself out there with your business. Fear of freezing up, I never need you to worry about that because your instincts, your design instincts will kick in. I've trained hundreds, not thousands of stagers, and every email after their first job is they couldn't believe how much their instinct kicked in and how much fun they had in the space. So you can't let those little things and that one bad client experience, haters are going to hate, that not your person. It's okay. Just let that go. Say no to that. Finally, let's talk about supercharging your marketing. I'm going to go really quickly through this. Connecting with agents. That's the beauty of it. Staging first, you connect with agents. I have a structure, of course, in my training of how you connect with them on open houses. You're not aggressive. You're making that connection, making that relationship. These are going to be your friends. Connect with them in the local realtor association. Guess what? You have an association filled with your number one target market right in your city, I promise. So make friends. It's that easy. Connect online. Maybe consider a logo for your business, some branding so you're memorable. Connect with all the directories you can so that if a seller's on Google and they're searching for stagers in your area, you want to be on those directories. It's Yelp, places you search, Houzz, Thumbtack, Risa, those are all free, by the way. So easy ways to get your business out there. The Real Estate Staging Association directory, my directory, if you're one of my members, these are places you get found and called. And then you just automate and grow your social media following. The beauty of social media, guys, is you have the ability to remind clients that you're there every day. And that's the beautiful thing about it. You're not to be salesy. They don't want to see, hey, open for, hey, call me if you want a stager. Nobody wants to see that right on social media. You got to give them something. You got to have fun. You've got to share funny posts or interesting transformations or how much you loved staging this home. Be you. And key is sales funnels. I always say, automating some of your business is creating sales funnels. These are the things that I give my members in the training for every service they offer. So that right away you have a landing page, and for color, you're giving them the top color tips, and you run a Google pay-per-click or a Facebook ad or a Yelp ad for your business. That's the beauty. You can get right up to the top because people are remodeling and they need your advice. If you have a gorgeous, credible internet presence, you are going to be a busy stager and designer. I promise you. It is about that website is your brochure, and you didn't even have to hand it to anybody, but you do have to drive traffic to it. That's how you do it. The good news is, and if you're on the line, let's say you're in the chat box, Are you excited and enthusiastic when you do design? Does design excite you? Or when you watch HGTV, or when you're reading that design magazine, is that the kind of stuff that excites you? If that excites you, go ahead and put yes in the chat room. If you love staging, you love design, if you love color, you just get giddy. I get giddy when I go into bookstores and I go to the design section and look at the books, because marketing is enthusiasm transferred to the customer. So you already have the enthusiasm with what you're doing. It follows those passions that we talked about. And so if you can get yourself out there, your marketing comes very easy. It's really true. It's not being aggressive. It's just transferring that enthusiasm. And getting back to Kimberly's story, which I love, that's why I shared her kind of throughout. She says, Audra always says, and it's true in my training, I say, you're going to always bring your own style into what you create. And she's unique. They try and be unique and not cookie cutter. They want buyers to stay a while. And now her business, she's a year in, she has a warehouse. She has full of furniture. She does 20 homes a week. They have their own moving and driving team. And they now have even expanded abroad. They're actually traveling to buy, because one of her passions was shopping. So they're traveling abroad to buy inventory. And then she says, did I mention that we love our job? She took that leap. And imagine this, I got to share with you. These are the cities they're going shopping this year. This is another passion she's pursuing in her staging business. So not only did she pursue her staging business passion last year, this year her latest passion is they're doing Good Karma interiors, where they're going to all these beautiful places and shopping, right? She is building her passion. She's building a life filled with her passion. So finally, I'm going to lead to the S. You just kind of have to sometimes start by starting, just dipping the toe. Because the one thing that every stager says to me, I'm going to remove this Expert e-Designer offer. I'm giving you my final offer for the HSR certified stager. Publish. Here we go. Is the one regret they make is they wish they started it earlier. I told you, so many of my members that start are retirees because they finally feel able to follow what they love. Don't get towards the end of your life to do what you finally love, because you only regret the chances you didn't take. And this is the one thing I hear. Kimberly Hawkins even told me, I wish I quit my Amazon job earlier. She's living the life of her passions. So my training, getting brass tacks, it's a lot. It's 3 weeks of everything you need to know to start a successful staging and design business. So imagine you just spent an hour with me. Imagine 3 weeks with me. It's a lot. So I take you in the beginning to just getting started, a little bit about what we talked about today. And then we talk about that consultation and really how to walk through step by step what to say, how to say it, how to structure it, the forms that you'll need. And then I walk you through pricing and the different services you're going to be offering. And since I know so many of you, the moment you say to a friend that you're getting into this, you start getting business right away. I actually have a quick start section that you can race to. It's not a linear training. You can bop in, you can jump in all over, because we are more like a franchise where I'm giving you all the tools and resources you're going to need to be successful in this business. I know what they are because I've been training people for years, and I'm always adding and tweaking and evolving it. And then you just take that as the platform for your business and you see where your business goes. Like Alicia, who just launched her business in February and is now doing Airbnbs. How cool is that? So I walk you through vacant staging, everything you need to know, occupied staging, all of the marketing steps for both. I walk you through then how you then transition to design work and redesign. We call it redesign. We don't say interior designer because you haven't done the 4-year degree, but that's okay. You could do a lot of design work with your business. We talk about alternative income streams, realtor partnerships, how to shop like a pro. I walk you through even going to the market. If you're going to the Las Vegas market after the real estate convention, what are the best places to shop and where to get killer deals? I walk you through how to handle model homes, vision boards, holiday design. That was one thing that really propelled Kimberly Hawkins' business, is she does a lot of holiday design, which I love, and organization. So it's a lot of stuff you go through. And of course, then I give you all of the forms. They're all in Word. So they're handouts that you can use. They make you look good. Your services, your pricing, your contracts, your order forms, your staging walkthrough guides. So when you go through a consultation, you're actually able to ask and look at the right questions. So if some of you are like wondering, where do I start? Don't worry, I have a guide for that. There it is. Your living room. Here's all the questions and checklist. Contracts. Here you go. I do this all because I don't want you spinning your wheels for months and months. Checklists, sales sheets to give to the realtor and put your name on with the latest statistics. I give you statistics. We have an 800 number. It's A to Z. Trust me, I told you, everybody who signs up for my training is afraid and excited. Those are the two words they always tell me. Everyone who completes my training at the very end is confident and excited. The excitement still stays. That's the good news. But the confidence is there. So I love that. I have an 800 number for support. So we're always here if you need us, normal business hours. You saw we have our Stagers Connect. You can always refer back to the training. And that is the beauty of online training versus classroom. The one thing I don't like about classroom training, and I don't know if this happens to you, but I would go to the classroom, and then when you get your first consultation, 2 months after you take the class, you're looking through your notes, you're trying to remember. Well, in my training, all you need to do is go to my consultation section, and you're going to get a shot in the arm of motivation, because I am a motivator, and I'm going to tell you, you're going in there with $50,000 in your back pocket. Here's what you need to do. So you can go right back to the classroom. The very first person who signed up with me back in 2006, still a member, still referring back to it. You get a hard copy of the manual. And I have to share Lindsay's testimony, quote that she gave me, because she wasted hundreds of hours trying to look for free information online. And there is free information. This was free for you, but you're not going to get all the answers. And so that's the point. You can fast forward your business by investing in yourself. And she wasted months. And I don't want that to be you, because confidence comes from knowledge. Investing in your learning inevitably leads to the confidence. I know a lot of you said that was your concern. One thing I say, give me your passion, 30 days and $950, and I'm going to show you how to create the successful business doing what you love. So are you ready to quit your day job, right? Are you ready? Go ahead and put it in there. All right. What software? I'm looking now. I can take some questions. You guys were great. Any questions on the training? Any questions on any of the trainings? What software program skills for the eDesign? Linda, I recommend Design Files. That's what it's called. You don't need any skills. There's easy tutorials I walk you through. It's point and click. The most non-technical people have taken my training and have done great. What is an Airbnb? It's a vacation rental. Beth, I'm so sorry you got laid off. I've been there. It hurts. It's a wake-up call. But if it's a wake-up call like it was for me to start my own business, I have been making my own money and my own business for 20 years, and I love it. Beth, you're ready. You are your own boss. You are going to determine where you want to go. Any other questions? I know there's over 300 people on the line, so go ahead. Elizabeth, speak about pricing. My last webinar was about pricing. So Elizabeth, if you're talking about pricing with consultations, I said, charge $200 for a consultation, sees where it goes. I told you then you have the pricing on the day. If you're talking about vacant pricing, that's a whole different beast. I spend a day on that in my training. I have a very simple formula for you in there. Born ready. I love it. Excited to start my second career. Oh, I get it. I know, right? I felt the same way, Charlotte. Oh, yes. Actually, Cassidy wondered if anyone was successful on military installations. Yes, my program, the Department of Defense used to pay for, because this is a perfect portable business for military wives. I should mention that. Nicole says, would you suggest offering discounted services when just starting up? No, Nicole, I have a whole strategy for that, because people are suspicious of things that are discounted. So you don't have to do that. People will pay you. Don't worry, they will. Layla, you don't need a new website. Incorporate it. Staging and design are two sides of the same coin. Who are we designing for? How do we ensure client pays you? Oh, and that's the beauty of credit card ahead of time, and payment methods like Square, PayPal. I have all that in there. You get payment ahead of time. How old is too old to start this? Well, Roselle, I have had 80-year-olds start my training and love it. They generally don't do vacant homes. They do consultation based. I shared a story of somebody who's retired, and she does it in her retirement home in Hawaii and in California. She's living the life. She just does consultations for friends. Camera, yes, this class is it's not just United States based. This class is universal. I have students from all over the world who take my class successfully. Um, I'm just afraid the person who's home staging my ears. Stop! Don't worry about Karen. That is fear. She's afraid that the person who's home staging her ears established most clients. Trust me, there are clients enough for everyone. Trust me, in your area there are 10 times more real estate agents than there are stagers in your area. I've never seen a market saturated yet. I really haven't. How do you transition to vacant with no capital? The credit card. When you get that first vacant job, you get payment up front and then you start shopping. I walk you through that in my training. It's okay. You can handle it. I have a lot of people. You get their money up front. Elizabeth, how long are your consultations? Usually about a couple hours, Elizabeth. You'll get good at it because if you have that staging report and you're not filling out a written one at home, never do that. You're just going to do it right there with the client. You're going to give them all information. You're going to overwhelm them with information so they're going to be like, come back tomorrow. And you can do that for them, right? Best way to put your portfolio together. There are several different ways you're going to need to put a portfolio together. Obviously, professional photos. The training is all online, but I do mail you a training manual because I believe that you learn best by watching, listening. You need to see, you need to hear, you need to touch. And the training manual will be your Bible. Wilma, go to risaconvention.com for those details. I don't know them exactly. The HSR training does not cover the e-design and color because those are for people who want to specialize in those services, Hamila. And trust me, when you get into the HSR training, that's 3 weeks. It's a lot of materials. And that's Kimberly Hawkins. I think that's all the training she took, and she is just fine doing that. There's enough niches you can find with that. But if you absolutely love color, that's what that color training is for, and the e-design. Start on the plan. I say start with the training. I even have tips for you on picking the right business name, that people even go back and pick a new business name sometimes because they didn't like the name they picked before my training. When you go through a formal training, it's just going to walk you through. It's going to be your step-by-step guide. How long does it take to stage a home, Bertha? That's the beauty of homes. They're all different. There's no formula. Some can take longer. Yes, you use the HSR logo on your page right away when you get started in the training because I know you're going to finish, Deborah. Okay. Oh, I love it. Jennifer says, I love these webinars. It always motivates me. I'm glad. Imagine you get a little shot in the arm. Imagine three weeks of me. Oh, my goodness. Well, I hope that some of you did come aboard. I'm losing my voice. I'm so sorry. But I want you to know it was a privilege training you. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I hope you'll consider you're going to get a follow-up email. These offers are expiring tomorrow night at midnight. You're going to get a follow-up email with the offer discounts links, so in case you missed them, and those details. And I hope I will be working with you soon. If the timing's not right for your business, I get it, or for you, I get it, but I hope you stay in touch and stay connected to this industry. You will always love it. It's the most fantastic industry. It's filled with the most beautiful people. You will love it. And in my training, I teach you how to design each space. I walk you through all the how-to, so you'll love it. So no fear, just you'll love it. So thank you all, and have a wonderful rest of your evening. Take care.